Greetings, I hope you're good and well. I'm doing a book review today for Funland by Richard Lehman. This is the second book that I've read by Richard Lehman, and the first one was shite, to be quite honest. The first book I read of his was called Beware a few years ago, and it was pretty terrible. So I was quite hesitant to actually read this one, but it was slightly better. This one is set in a place called Botany Bay, which I think is in California. It's either fictional or it's in California, I'm not sure. There's a big fun fair. There are lots of tramps in the fun fair who are referred to as trolls. And these trolls are basically causing havoc in the fun fair. They're attacking people, they're pestering people and asking them for money. And so this gang of teenagers decides to go and kind of hunt them down. And that's the basic premise of the story. They're going around this fun fair hunting down the tramps or the trolls. And this fun fair has got all these rides, and there's also like a museum of horrors in the fun fair as well. So that's the general setting for the story. The book has a very strong prologue. I had fun reading the prologue. There's this scene where they get hold of one of these tramps and they kind of torture him. It's a good scene for me. I like weird stuff. That was good, but the ending is good as well. Very good start, very good ending. Quite an impressive ending, but the middle is very, very long and drawn out. I kind of got bored and I had to push myself through the book, through the middle of it. There are a few gruesome scenes that I enjoyed reading. There was like a mutilation scene in there, and there were a few scenes where people get killed, and like these tramps get killed and stuff. Somebody falls from the top of a big, what's it called, like a Ferris wheel. A few good scenes like that. But it kind of reads like a young adult novel. It's, you know, it's horror. It's like it's a bit gruesome, and there's blood and stuff here and there. But it's got a very pedestrian feel about it. It's not like, it certainly didn't give me nightmares. Let's put it like that. It's not that kind of horror. Most of the characters are teenagers as well. It's not marketed as a young adult novel, to the best of my knowledge, but it certainly reads like one. And most of the characters are teenagers, so if you want to read something really dark, like proper nightmare material, this isn't it. It didn't scare me, and I would actually describe it as fluffy horror. That's a good way to. It's like candy horror. What's a good example? What's another example? Yeah, I don't know. Like just like your general generic zombie movie or something like that. It's horror, but it's not. It doesn't kind of sink. It doesn't get under your skin. It's like fluffy candy horror. Thank you for making it to the halfway point of this video. This is a quick message to let you know that I have a range of horror and science fiction books available, and most of them are completely free. If you enjoy my videos, you might also enjoy my stories. It's also a great way to support my work. Read one of my books for free, leave a review for it, and you'll be helping me to grow as an author and a book reviewer. And if you want exclusive updates about my upcoming publications, consider joining my mailing list. You'll also receive a free audiobook for doing so. All of the links are in the description box below. Now, back to the video. This may sound a bit harsh, but I think this is the last Richard Lehman book I'm going to read. The first one, Beware, was laughable. It was a joke. This one was better, but it still didn't quite hit the spot. I think it's going to be the last one of Lehman's that I read. Good ending, but I feel like I haven't really gained anything by reading it. It was quite entertaining. I've just basically read a story about a group of teenagers chasing these tramps around a fun fair. There was a couple of good scenes in it. Okay, wowee, you know, that's it. I haven't really gained anything. The prose is a bit flat. The prose isn't like embedded with like these really interesting insights, like a Clive Barker novel, for example. I read Sacrament by Clive Barker a while ago, and the storyline wasn't that amazing with that, but the prose is very good, very detailed prose, and you can feel that you're reading the words of a really educated author. I didn't get that with this one. I didn't get that from Funland. There's not enough depth, and there's no grand meaning to the book either. There's no overarching message or meaning really to it. So it's kind of like cheap horror. I gave the book 3 stars on Goodreads, I think. Gave it 3 stars. Should you read it? Only if you like reading candy horror, and if you like young adult horror, you should read it. In fact, if you're into that kind of stuff, if you're into like fluffy candy horror, if you like reading young adult horror, and if you like just a little bit of a fun scare, and you don't want to be too disturbed, then you might actually like this book. And if you like funfair stuff, you'll like it. But if you like really edgy stuff, and if you like horror that actually bites and gets under your skin, don't bother, you'll be disappointed. Thanks very much for watching. I'll be back in 2 weeks with another book review. In the meantime, try to have a good day on this fluffy, pedestrianised, young adult piece of rock we call Earth. Goodbye.